Hello everyone. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about your fall and winter glove choices from the North Face. I recently reviewed the North Face website and saw you can get each one of these models and variations of these models, so this will be accurate for winter 2023-2024. I have these arranged from left to right, from the least warm to the most warm. Essentially is the easy way to look at it, and also price-wise too. So let's go over the names. Here we have the Etip glove, the most basic. We have the Apex Etip Insulated glove. We have the Montana Utlity SG glove. And then we have the Montana glove. These are very similar but not identical. So I'm going to go over each one of these individually and highlight the pros and cons and what I use them for. These are the most basic gloves from the North Face. These are the Etip gloves. These only have a warmth rating of 1. They don't really have anything listed for windproof or waterproof because it really is essentially like a more fancy version of knit gloves. You know, those cheap ones you get as a kid in your Christmas stocking that cost $1 from the dollar store that usually rip apart after a few washes in the washing machine. These are a way upgraded version of that, and it has some kind of little rubber things for a little bit more grip. I have used these for a couple years now, and what I like about these is they're not too warm. That's actually why I like these so much, because I layer with hat, gloves, wool socks, I have long johns, I have insulated shoes, so I don't necessarily need my gloves to be the most thick at all times. I like to wear these in the fall and winter time. Also, I wear these indoors when I'm grocery shopping, like at Costco or Fred Meyer or whatnot. I will wear these indoors still. I don't take them off. So they're great for driving because they got a little bit of the rubber stippling and you don't have any of the sausage fingers whatsoever. So you have full dexterity with these. They're not the most warm, obviously. They're cheap and they do kind of wear here on the fingers, but they're easy to come by and you can get these at secondhand stores too. So you don't actually have to usually pay full price to get a pair of these. These are the entry-level model. These Apex Plus Etip gloves are an insulated version of the original Etip glove. They're a little bit more thicker and have a little bit more wind resistance and water resistance, but they're not snow gloves by any means, so I wouldn't wear these using them out in the snow. I do like to wear these for driving also because you still have good dexterity and they do actually provide a fair amount of warmth. But when the temperature goes below 40 degrees, I don't wear these anymore. So these are a fall glove for me. I can also interchange these with the basic Etip one. These are a little bit too warm to wear inside the grocery store when I go shopping or whatnot, but these do provide a little bit more warmth for when I'm not wearing as much in the layers. So if I'm feeling kind of lazy and I don't want to wear all the specific layers, I can just wear heavier gloves and heavier hat or heavier coat instead of layering up. And these gloves are a good alternative. I wore these a lot. I've had these for over a year now, and you can see they're still in great condition. These little rubber things here are still intact, and they're more raised than on the regular Etip, and these are great for driving, and you still have great dexterity. The cuff on them is great because it's flexible enough to you can still get away with the watch, but it still doesn't let any kind of debris or anything get in there, so it fits snugly to your wrist. These are the Montana Utlity SG gloves. I bought these last year and I used them for my outdoor adventures in the snow. These are extremely warm, windproof, and waterproof. These aren't the highest in warmth, but it's the second highest. It's a 2 rating out of 3, but it has a 3 rating on the windproof and waterproofness. And I can affirm that these are extremely warm. I wore these out in the middle of nowhere while it was below freezing in the snow, no problems. I even actually would take them off at times and then put them back on because they are quite warm. So the warmth rating is very accurate. The next pair is the older brother of these, which is the highest warmth rating. So I can wear these for pretty much any conditions. The only difference is the cuff. This has like a sweatshirt cuff, which you may or may not like. I'm fine with it. I always wear a watch. I'm not wearing one currently, but when I'm out and about, I always wear a watch. So with the way that the cuff is, my watch still is covered, but it doesn't affect the use of the glove, and I can still use the little wrist things to secure around your wrists. So if you just want to wrap it around your wrist and then hang the gloves off your wrist, you can do that. Or they still do have the little connector thing. So I usually connect it on the chest of my backpack. But these are good value. They aren't very expensive either. I think these were under $60. They come in black now too. Originally they only came in like green and brown, so I got green. But they also have the little bit of the Etip function. Maybe you can see the material difference change. I don't really use the phone out when I'm using basically snow gloves, but these are great for wiping off your car and everything too. Doesn't get your hands wet at all. And these are marketed as gloves that you could wear from the office to the mountains. And I would agree with that. They're great utilitarian use, and the sausage fingers aren't that bad. You still have good dexterity in your fingers. These are the Montana gloves. These are the warmest, the most waterproof, and the most windproof. These are the older brother of the previous Montana Utlity SG gloves. You see the wrist is a little bit different on these ones. That's one of the main differences, is it's, I would say, more suitable use for your snow adventures, because you can tuck, into here and then use this to tuck so you don't get any snow inside here, whereas the other one just had like the sweatshirt cuff. This is a little bit better, I would say, for more extreme use, the way that the cuff is designed. It still has the loop thingies that you can use to wrap around your wrist. So you basically loop this through your wrist so you don't have to take the glove completely off. It'll just hang off your hands, and then the other loop used for pulling on and off. But you see, and then you can just hang it off your wrist. So they're kind of cool. It took me a while to figure out. I was like, why is there two of them? I know one is to help pull it on, but the other one is to, secure it on your wrist, because I can see that if, you're doing your hardcore skiing or snowboarding or whatever you like to do, maybe you ride bikes in the mountains too. They got those bikes with the really fat tires. You don't want to, crash and have a bunch of snow go down your pants or down into your, wrist here between your hands, because you want to keep your hands, your feet dry. You want to keep your extremities dry and warm, so on and so forth. But these, extremely waterproof. You see that the material on the index finger has a little bit of a different sewing. So each one of these, they try to cater a little bit to the people that can't live without their cell phone. Like, you're not getting the glove to keep them warm and dry and not cold from the wind, but how well do they use with the stupid phone? I don't really care about that. I'm more concerned about the overall function of warmth, wind protection, and not getting wet. I bought these originally, and these are a little bit too much for what I need on a daily basis. So if there's ever some kind of extreme condition, I have these, but I usually don't need something like this. Even when it gets down to like 8-degree temperature or below that, below 10 degrees, I can still get away with using these with my layers. But these also are black, so they match more of my other North Face stuff. So that's also something to consider, is the different, colors that they offer and the different materials. They have mitts like this, so if you don't like the individual fingers and you just want the mitts, they offer something like that too. But I like the individual fingers, and the dexterity is still pretty good, but it has the most sausage fingers out of them all.